always have the habit of carrying this clunky camera bag around. And I always also was the person to be the better have it, not need it, then need it, not have it person on shoots. But I can't take this clunky camera bag everywhere with me, so I needed something lighter, smaller, and built for working events to where I have no time to dig out really all my accessories. So I switched to the Luma Sling Bag by Nomadic, and after putting it through its paces throughout multiple events this year as my only camera bag, here's what I learned. All right, let's get into the pros and cons of this bag, starting with gear storage. It's great for everyday camera essentials like your go-to camera and a few accessories. It can even fit my full-on cinema camera that I use to record these videos with its cage on, plus a lens and my GoPro and a few accessories when I go and shoot some of my on-location stuff and I need a POV camera. It also can fit my DSLR camera and lens, making it a versatile bag for all different kind of camera setups. It can even be a dedicated grab and go bag for when you're going on trips, visiting museums. Let's say you're flying to a different country or a different state and you want to take pictures for the first time while you're visiting. It's a great bag for just your camera essentials, and it's very airline friendly. And if you're carrying a film camera, it's going to be very roomy depending on what camera you put in there, but it'll give you enough space for maybe some few accessories. But the most important thing of all is film packs. It'll be able to fit a lot of packs of film or rolls of film if that's what you use. Mainly with my Fujifilm Instax, the instant camera, that's what I take with me, and it's very roomy for that camera, and I have enough space to put a couple packs of film, but that extra padding is really good for keeping it protected. Now going into the cons when it comes to gear storage. It doesn't fit a lot, so you're gonna have to be selective in what you take. So basically your everyday carry items, what is the most important to you when you're going out taking pictures, videos, wherever it may be, because it cannot fit a lot. So you kind of have to prioritize what you want to take with you. It can fit a single camera body in it with maybe a lens and a few accessories depending on how you organize. How I organize it is I can put my camera in a separate compartment because it has two dividers. I can put my camera in a separate compartment, lens in one, and then maybe accessories I can fit towards the very end of the bag, but that's it. It's not really much. Now going on to bag features, the pros and cons of bag features, starting off with the pros. Its magnetic bag closures are really nice because I can still keep it zipped, and even if I close it, the tabs are going to keep it covered in place, and that really helps, especially if you're out in weather and it happens to be raining. It'll still protect your gear, and I even attested this because I did have to go take some pictures out while it was raining, and my camera stayed completely dried when it was in the bag. The top hidden pocket is really nice, especially for things that are slim and thin. If you have a phone without your case on it, it can fit into that top pocket. Maybe if you have like those Ridge wallets, it can fit in that too. But any small accessories like a lens cloth, things like that will definitely do well in that top pocket. But if you can keep some cash and maybe some cards or like maybe a lens filter if it's small enough, it'll definitely fit in that as well. The stiff Velcro dividers that it comes with are really nice because it not only keeps everything in your bag separate, but they're very firm, so it also helps with the additional padding and keeping your gear safe and as well organized. If you want to have the zippers close inward to you on the bag, you can, which makes it great for anti-theft. Same thing with the quick access tabs, it's really good for that as well. But if you want to keep it anti-theft safe, I highly recommend keeping those zippers zipped and closed because it is good for that as well. Now here come some of the cons with the bag features, and this is kind of that I really took note of just because of kind of how many there are. But don't get me wrong, this is still a very nice bag and I highly recommend it. It's not ideal for large objects, especially with a thick phone or wallet, especially that top pocket. Anything thick is not going to do well. While the interior pockets of the bag on the flap are nice, I think they're very small and restrictive and you can easily poke a hole or even break them. But I do make it work by only carrying just a couple of SD cards and maybe a lens cloth or two. Any small accessories that can fit in that I don't mind being in that pouch is really great. In terms of putting things on outside of the bag, you can with carabiners, it's just gonna be really hard. Now they do make extension cords in a way that can actually attach to the outside of the bag where you can hang things off of, but those are at an extra cost and don't come with it, which I kind of listed that as a con, because if you're spending money for this bag and you want to put things on the outside of it, the accessory really should come included. So that's just kind of one gripe I have with the bag, because I've tried to put things outside of it with a carabiner, but it does kind of weigh it down a little bit. Now, it does come with a dual handle luggage strap, which is really nice if you're going to throw it over your luggage handles and carry-ons. However, that luggage strap is very thick and tight, and I'm concerned it might break if I do put it over. So just kind of be mindful of that, but it's a really great strap for if you just want to kind of carry it by hand, like moving it around your house or something. That's really great for that. The shoulder strap is comfortable, but if the bag does get a little bit heavy, it's gonna kind of rub on you a little bit. So if that's kind of a pet peeve of yours, just keeping that in mind. Other than that, you know, the bag in terms of features is really okay. But if you want to strap anything on the outside of it, like maybe a water bottle or an extra pouch or something, that extension cord is something that you're gonna have to keep in mind. And our last and final topic is practicality. So here are the pros and cons of practicality. It can protect the gear against the elements, especially how I mentioned when it was raining and things like that, if it's closed on top. So any kind of elements, it will definitely protect your camera for, which is a plus, and keeps it nice and safe and dry. It is great for shoots where you kind of only need minimal gear. So if you're going out and taking, you know, event pictures, things like that, anything that where you know you're gonna need a single camera and lens, that's what it's really great for. And it also goes both ways with video. If you know when you're shooting video, your essentials that you need for the shoot that day, it'll fit in that bag as well. It is also the perfect size bag for when you're traveling. As I mentioned before, it is going to fit the airline requirements. If you go to museums, some museums have bag policies. It will definitely fit with those as well. So if you're looking on taking day trips anywhere around the country, that bag will be perfect for you. And what's nice about the bag is the hard outer shell. Once you first touch the bag, you can kind of like feel how rough and rigid it is. And even when like knocking on it and things like that, you can tell it's very kind of well structured. So if you drop it, if you were to drop it with your gear inside, it would protect it, which the additional padding, as I mentioned, is a bonus. So here come the cons. When I took this bag with me, when I went to go photograph Pulitzer Prize winner Natasha Trethewey, the bag strap, I did kind of make a note that it was making a lot of noise when I had the bag on me and was moving around. So that can kind of be distracting to some. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is like if you're doing a lot of moving in quiet spaces, the bag strap might be noisy, but that's just kind of my thing with it. But if it doesn't bother you, most of the time it's going to be okay. That was one thing I picked up. Obviously, as I mentioned before, this is a very small bag. You're not going to take a lot of things with you when you have this. So it's going to be good for minimal shoots where you're not going to need a lot of gear. When it comes to attaching things, it can be difficult to attach things to the bag, whether you have carabiners or things like that, especially if you don't have the recommended cord that they suggested. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I don't have anything attached to the outside of the bag as much as I would like to. I can't because it's just difficult, but also it's going to weigh me down and I don't need that. In terms of the back luggage handle, it is very firm and rigid, as I mentioned before. I think it would be fine for smaller luggage. That way, you know, you're not going to be worried about breaking it, but that is something to keep in mind, as it might not go over most luggage handles. And it's now time to answer the question, what is this bag good for? And my final thoughts on it. The Luma Sling Bag is what I would call the weekender of camera bags. Less is more, and if you are a maximalist, that is completely out the door because you will not be able to bring a lot of gear with you, but truly the essentials is what I would recommend. It's not going to be the bag for big setups, as I mentioned before, or situations where you're going to need a lot of gear. That kind of branches into full-scale productions and things like that. But if you wanted to have this bag as like a backup and to carry some things, that would be fine too. It's going to be the bag that will be crucial to you and what you want to carry. And like I said, another good point of it is it's practical when traveling. You can take it with you and it's going to meet a lot of requirements. So to me, that would be my perfect camera bag for traveling. If I need to take camera gear, I can even claim it as a personal item bag and put it under the seat, and I won't have to worry about my gear getting damaged on airlines. Overall, if you're just going out for a day of shooting and you want something to keep your camera and lens and a few accessories in, this bag is perfect. It'll let you focus more on shooting and less about worrying if your gear is going to get damaged, because it will definitely protect it. And it's just a nice low profile bag. That way, all you have to worry about is just going out and taking more pictures and putting your camera back in the bag when it's done, and less fuss. It's also perfect for the minimalist creative. I think I've mentioned this before. It's the run and gunner, the day tripper, and those who just want a dedicated grab and go bag like myself. While it does have its limitations, simplicity can be a strength, and that's where I think this bag really excels in. So if you're looking for something that's very simple, I highly recommend it again. And after over a year of real world use case, I use this bag for the entire year with a variety of events from indoors to outdoors. I can truly say that this bag has really held up so far, and I'm excited to have this as my dedicated bag for years to come. And if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for sticking around with my first product review. I knew once I got this bag that it was something that I want to try out and see if it is really worth it, and to me it is. So if you'd like me to do more product reviews, don't hesitate to leave a comment because I would love to hear your thoughts. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!